Right now, college athletes are signing six-figure deals. Schools are suing players. Players are suing schools. Billionaire boosters are funding recruiting wars. And the organization that was supposed to control all of it can't stop any of it. The NCAA spent more than a century building the rules of college sports. Today, those rules are collapsing in real time. And the craziest part? This wasn't caused by some outside attack. The NCAA created this monster itself, a monster so powerful that judges, lawmakers, coaches, and even the NCAA are now struggling to contain it. But to understand how college sports got here, you have to understand one thing. For over 100 years, the NCAA built a billion-dollar empire around a single idea. An idea they defended at all costs. An idea that turned out to be legally impossible to defend. And once that idea collapsed, everything else came down with it. Let's go back to 1906. College football was killing people. Literally. During the 1905 season alone, 18 players died on the field. Broken necks, internal injuries, no proper safety equipment. The sport was becoming so dangerous that President Theodore Roosevelt stepped in and demanded reform. Fix the game, or risk losing it entirely. That pressure led to the creation of the NCAA. At the time, nobody imagined it would one day become one of the most powerful organizations in American sports. Its original mission was simple: protect athletes, create rules, keep college sports alive. But over the next century, something changed. The games became bigger, the crowds became larger, television arrived, money flooded in, and eventually, college sports transformed into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Yet throughout all of it, the NCAA continued to defend one core belief: amateurism. The idea sounded noble. College athletes weren't professionals. They weren't employees. They weren't workers. They were students. Students who happened to be very good at sports. And because they were amateurs, they couldn't be paid. That principle became the foundation of everything. It justified the rules. It justified the restrictions. It justified the NCAA's control. And for decades, very few people questioned it. But there was one problem. The money never stopped growing. By the late 2010s, college sports had become one of the most lucrative entertainment industries in America. The NCAA generated billions. Television networks paid billions. Universities signed massive sponsorship deals. Coaches signed contracts worth millions of dollars. Every year, more money poured into college sports. But the people creating that value, the athletes, still couldn't earn a single dollar from their own name. The contradiction had become impossible to ignore. If everyone else was making money, why weren't the players? That question would eventually land in a courtroom, and it would change college sports forever. The man who forced that conversation wasn't a superstar of the modern era. It was a former UCLA basketball player named Ed O'Bannon. Years after his college career had ended, O'Bannon noticed something strange. A popular college basketball video game featured a player wearing his old jersey number. The player looked like him, played like him. Anyone watching knew exactly who it represented. The game was making money from his identity, but O'Bannon wasn't making a cent. So he sued, not because of a video game, because of the principle behind it. His argument was simple. If schools, television networks, and companies could profit from college athletes, why couldn't the athletes profit from themselves? For years, the NCAA defended the same answer: amateurism. They argued that paying athletes would destroy the spirit of college sports. That being a student athlete meant playing for education, not for money. But the legal pressure kept building. Then in 2021, everything changed. The case was called NCAA versus Alston. It reached the United States Supreme Court, and the NCAA lost, unanimously, 9-0. The court didn't completely eliminate amateurism that day, but it shattered the legal foundation protecting it. Then came a warning that echoed across college sports. Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote that many of the NCAA's business practices would be illegal in almost any other industry. For more than a century, the NCAA had built its authority around amateurism. Now, even the highest court in the country was openly questioning whether that system could survive. The wall had cracked. It was only a matter of time before it collapsed. Just days after the ruling, the NCAA announced a temporary policy that changed everything. Athletes could finally earn money from their name, image, and likeness, better known as NIL. At first it sounded simple: sign autographs, appear in commercials, promote local businesses, the kinds of endorsement deals professional athletes had enjoyed for decades. But that's not what happened. Instead, the market exploded. Boosters created organizations called collectives. Officially, they existed to connect athletes with NIL opportunities. In reality, many became recruiting war chests. Programs with the deepest pockets suddenly had an enormous advantage. The conversation changed overnight. It wasn't just about facilities anymore, or championships, or coaching. It was about money. How much could your program offer? How much could another school pay? College football had entered an arms race. One of the biggest examples came when five-star quarterback Nico Iamaleava reportedly signed an NIL agreement worth around $8 million before ever playing a college game. That number shocked the entire sports world. And it wasn't the only one. Millions of dollars were flowing through college athletics faster than anyone had imagined. Even legendary coaches could see what was happening. Nick Saban publicly accused rivals of buying recruiting classes. Lane Kiffin admitted that the schools with the biggest NIL budgets would win the best players. College football wasn't recruiting anymore. It was bidding, and the NCAA suddenly found itself watching a system it had created grow far beyond its control. But NIL didn't just change how athletes got paid, it changed how they moved. The transfer portal exploded. Players no longer had to spend years waiting for a better opportunity. If another school offered a better future or a better financial package, they could leave, almost overnight. For decades, coaches controlled the system. Now, for the first time, players had leverage too. College football wasn't just evolving, it was becoming a marketplace. And the NCAA was struggling to keep up. Then came another historic turning point. In 2025, the House settlement changed college sports once again. Schools could now directly share revenue with athletes. For more than 100 years, the NCAA had fought to keep players unpaid. Now, schools themselves were preparing to write the checks. The line separating college sports from professional sports had almost disappeared. And that's when the biggest question of all emerged. If athletes can earn endorsement money, transfer freely, and now receive direct payments from their schools, what exactly is left of amateurism? The answer: very little. The NCAA spent more than a century building a system designed around one idea: that college athletes should never be paid like professionals. But one court case after another slowly dismantled that foundation. First came Ed O'Bannon, then NCAA versus Alston, then NIL, then revenue sharing. Every decision solved one problem, but created another. The NCAA thought it was adapting. Instead, it unleashed forces it could no longer control. Recruiting became bidding. Boosters became power brokers. Players gained more freedom than ever before. And the organization that once controlled every detail of college sports suddenly found itself reacting instead of leading. That's why the title of this story isn't just clickbait. The NCAA really did create a monster it can no longer control. Not because paying athletes was wrong. Many believe it was long overdue. The monster was never the athletes. The monster was the system that emerged after decades of pressure, lawsuits, money, and compromise. A system with no clear rule book, no simple solution, and no way to return to the past. The old version of college sports is gone, and it's never coming back. The genie is out of the bottle, the monster is out of the cage, and the future of college sports will belong to whoever learns to control it next. Because whether you love these changes or hate them, one thing is no longer up for debate. The NCAA built the modern world of college sports, but in trying to save it, it may have changed it forever.